Okay. In the name of Almighty Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. As Muhammad, peace be upon him, narrated, if anyone travels on a road in search of knowledge, Almighty Allah will cause him to travel on one of the roads of paradise. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Tariq Masood. Thank you very much for watching my videos and your wonderful support to make this channel a grand success. We are a family, a partner. Please share and subscribe our channel if you haven't done so far. We as a team can work together to convert challenges into opportunities and opportunities into success stories. These success stories can be monetized into value addition in the world by large. Okay. Uh, Today I'm going to discuss challenge for organization model, customer victory lecture number 1. After a long break, we have already discussed challenge for organizations, introductions. Now we have started customer victory. Okay, we have completed almost 12 lectures on challenge for organization as introductory program. Okay, before my lecture, I used to read a Quranic verse, Qala Rabbi Shrah li Sadri wa Yassar li Amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli Allahumma Rabbi zidni ilma. O my Lord, open my chest and ease my task for me, and loose a knot from my tongue that they may understand my saying. Allahumma Rabbi zidni ilma, O Allah, advance me in my knowledge and true understanding. Okay, thank you very much for your precious time. Okay, this is a future plan as we discussed earlier. So we have started again after a long break, challenge for organization. So challenge for organization, then the change process. So today we have started customer victory. Next topic, what is the bureaucracy? Our Requiem of the bureaucracies, change, yes, but what change is needed? Then the change process, a review of the poor reasoning, the frame of references, then the process from substance to the problem here, and the process from problem to priorities. So the process from priority to the levers and implementation, the moment of the change. Okay. This topic we have planned to discuss, but we have already started here the customer victory. So it will take 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, after a long break, we are going to start a challenge for organization. Today, customer victory lecture number 1. So what we have planned to discuss in customer victory. First topic from scarce product to the scarce customer, hazards of segmentation, how not to listen, case of British catering company, getting off the beaten track. Okay, so today we have a plan to discuss customer victory. What is customer victory? Then there are the different topics that we'll discuss on later stage. Okay, how human resources management as an essential contribute to the customer victory. That is important. Okay. So key takeaway points from lecture number 1, organizations, customer victory, debate on globalizations, transformations, dual society, legitimizations of the liberal. Customer victory, debate on globalization, understanding, revolution, criticism, in the last drop of the always a little more which employee are asked to give and which is the fact always little less. It is starting from the debate on globalization, as we have discussed in my earlier lectures, that one can reach an understanding of what we will be calling the customer victory and how it leads to a revolution in the globalizations. As we saw, the idea of globalization today is no longer contested, but this is not to say that the concept is accepted everywhere in the same way or that its consequences do not undergo harsh criticism. Okay. In many countries, we find a two school of thoughts. On the one hand, there is a school of thoughts. So what they have that with always having observed the unavoidability of globalization does not take the granted the elimination of nation states. Instead of a strong state should increasingly regulate effects of globalization and protect its citizens from the more serious consequences. This would mean voluntarily bowing out politically from the hyper-financialization of the world. This line of thinking is the exact opposite of the one proclaimed on a billboard in the United States, such as the well-known slogan, "Government is the problem, free enterprise is the solution." On the other hand, there is a school of thought in the price is the solution minorities that suggest that we might be cutting ourselves off from the rest of the world and refocusing our energy on national culture, tradition, morality, and so on, escaping the generalized movement toward a global economy. They are not very realistic. As mentioned, Mr. Robert clearly defined globalization and its consequences on a country by adopting a distinction between American society and American economy. Okay, so from the next slide, further we discuss on a transformation. What is a transformation basically? Okay, okay, transformation. So next century, national business, destiny, and economies. Okay, the French system as opposed to the adaptability. We are experiencing a transformation which will reorganize politics and the economies in the next century. There will be no national products or national technology, no national business or no national industry. Okay, national economies will no longer exist, at least in the way in which we conceive of them today. All that will remain rooted within borders are the people who make up a nation. The understanding or underlying questions concern the future of American society as distinct from the American economies and the destiny of the majority of Americans who are losing in global competition. Okay. From the next slide, we will discuss the idea of dual society. Okay. Customer victory, next topic, is dual society, dependency, participations, and dual society. The idea of dual society returns with, on one hand, those who can participate in globalization, benefits from it, and free themselves once and for all from the former local dependencies which have left a deep historical imprint. Okay. And on the other hand, those who are subject to its consequences with a few means to react and intervene in their own fate. This winner or loser vision is not wrong, at least in the short run, which is, after all, as far as we can see in the respect of phenomena of globalizations. But what is not interest is that these visions can be found in the workplace and the organization, starting with what seems to be one of the most immediate and abrupt consequences of globalizations. The customer victory. This is not a new observation. No more than the institution that the victory must have irreversible consequences for organization, which produce goods and services. It was at the root of the re-engineering process which many countries, including France, rejected categorically without reflecting more fully on the extent of the preconceived notions from which the movement stems. Looking only at the technical aspects, most often only to refute them, economy's power has been handed over from the producer to the customer. Mass productions, more quality, more for the money, more choices, or more services. So the right hammer and champion, this is the about a dare as one can get concerned the consequence of such a movement. From an entirely different perspective and the quite different conclusions. Saminer says much about them, how the things can happen. Okay. From next slide, we will talk about legitimization of liberal in globalization. Okay, customer victory. So today we're going to test for a next topic, legitimization of liberal. So it constituted with the first factor mechanism, universal vacations, and personalized consumer. Okay. In its chemically poor form, the legitimizations of liberal globalizations hangs on praising the consumer as a king. Since the market constitutes the most effective mechanism for distributing wealth and since globalization is no helping to tear down all the borders, be they geographically culture of the nations or the state, borders which up till now have held its back from fulfilling the universal vocation. Globalization must now be allowed to run its full course for a final result will be victory of the customer. If the latter is not end of the story, it is at least sense of the story. Okay. Mr. Raffin mentioned that yet a third version of the observation. First, he mentioned about the personalization. The personalized consumer is now starting to displace a standardized distributing aimed the various forms of competition in which business engage in the hopes of winning customers over one by one, while at the same time attempting to keep a cost associated with maintaining a stockpile of the product as low as possible. Okay. This is thus the same vision today commonplace in many companies built around disinterested consensus, which keeps us from understanding the actual consequences in day-to-day life in the workplace. In their heated battle to hold at bay the drastic change which are on their way. Bureaucrats, a term which we will define more precisely in the way the bureaucrats in terms of which in the in my next topic. Swallow the idea of the customer's victory but see it as a little more than the tasteless pill. The idea must thus be explored more seriously in the direction. First, what does it mean that the customer has won in a daily life? But conceptually as well in terms of distribution of power. Next, if the customer has a truly won and must be listened to at all costs, then how do organizations react to this new constraint? Finally, why does this victory present a fundamental problem of an organizations as defined in my earlier lectures in the preceding sections? Okay. So conclusion, today we have discussed debate on globalizations, dual society and legitimization of liberal globalization. Okay. So, next up, topic challenge for organization. We are going to discuss from second product to second customer, what basically gives you some heads up. To more fully comprehend what is the customer victory means in concrete day-to-day terms, let's take a simple example with which as we have discussed in this topic and earlier as well. So I'll give you one example which concerns mid-sized town of 20,000 residents located some 50 kilometers from Paris. Okay, 30 years ago there were about many people, but in those days prospective car buyers in the town had only one vendor to turn to, in this case, a Renault leadership, for example. When asked about the availability of an automobile, the dealer would explain that it was a difficult time to place an order. And after consulting his books and calling the manufacturer, so would say that with little luck a vehicle could be brought in within a 2 or 3 months, provided that the bias was not to set any particular color or horsepower. The customer, delighted by such good fortune, would have celebrated the event that every very evening with the friends and family along the same lines. Some readers might recall how difficult it was to come by a tires even will after the end of the Second World War. Today, in the very same town, there are 13 automobile dealerships, each one fighting for piece of a local market through aggressive competition. So, we'll discuss how we can improve further. Okay, references. These are material which you can read and learn more about the challenge for organization, customer victory, bureaucracy, Requiem for bureaucracy, change, yes, but why? Thank you very much for your precious time. Okay, together everyone achieve more. Please do not hesitate. Send me your feedback and comments t.masood.dear@path.edu. Please stay at home, stay safe, inspired, and blessed. Thank you very much for your precious time. Thank you very much.